Today, I'm going to be opening and testing some of the cheapest slimes I could buy. Hit subscribe and let's get started. Okay, so the first slime that we have here is a little bit strange looking. I actually really love the container it came in, but it has no labels on and I kind of wouldn't be able to tell if this was slime or not. It kind of looks like aloe vera or like some gel or something, but once I'd opened it up, I obviously knew it was slime. And not only was it slime, but it was really good slime. It was crystal clear, super stretchy, and actually looked really pretty too. I kind of wish I knew a little bit more information on this slime because there were no labels or anything, but this one definitely didn't need to be fixed. So let's move on to some that actually do. Okay, so this next slime was actually 4 different ones, so I thought we should probably open them all together, considering they came together. I could see that the pink one had leaked and kind of gone all crusty, and feeling it, I kind of knew this one definitely needed to be fixed, because it was just kind of like hard, rubbery gel. But I was kind of hoping that the others would have a different texture, but they didn't. They were all kind of rippy and not stretchy at all, and they kind of just crumbled, which was kind of weird. And it's such a shame because these actually look so cute and really pretty in their containers, and they're all crystal clear, but the texture of them is just not it, and it was very difficult to even like play with them at all. I will say though, I really do like the colors of all of these because they're really bright and just look really nice. Now, I put the purple and the blue and the pink into a bowl, and I actually didn't include the orange because I felt like it would ruin the color of this, because these colors together will mix together to make something that's somewhat nice. I just added some glue to this, kind of hoping that it would melt it down, and literally mixed for ages. I feel like I say this every video, and I'm not complaining, but these fixing videos take a lot of mixing, and I'm not sure if it's to do with the type of glue that they might use, but it always seems to take forever. Now, this was actually taking kind of a ridiculous amount of time, and it was kind of forming like a weird semi-slime, where half of it was activated and half of it was sticky. I ended up actually just putting it away half mixed, and just decided to wait a few days to see what would happen. So while we wait, let's move on to the next package. So the next one I was a little bit surprised with because it came super securely packed and nothing was damaged, but it did not look as big as it did in the picture, which is honestly my fault for not reading the size, but this slime was pretty tiny. Now, although the size was a little bit disappointing, the slime itself felt pretty nice. It was advertised as a strawberry butter slime, and it smelled like strawberries, but the texture was definitely just clay, which is fine, and it was kind of fun to play with, but I wanted to turn this into an actual slime, so I decided to put it into a bowl and actually just add slime. To me, the logic was that all that butter slime is clay and slime mixed together. So if this supposed slime feels like clay, I should just be able to mix it into some slime and make butter slime. That was a little bit of a tongue twister. I think it was probably just because of habit, but I actually went in with a spatula when I really didn't need to. So I ended up just mixing them together with my hands, and this was actually really satisfying. I was a little bit worried because sometimes these slimes are made with different ingredients that it wouldn't mix in together smoothly, but it actually mixed perfectly. Now I honestly could have made my life easier and just stopped there, but I like to take it a little step further. So I decided to add some instant snow to give it a kind of fuzzy texture. I find that instant snow is actually always satisfying to mix in. Sometimes it can take a little longer, but when you're mixing it into butter slime, it tends to kind of go in pretty easily. This happened here, but I noticed that the more I'd mix the snow in, the slime would actually get a little bit tougher. Now, I'm pretty sure that this is just the instant snow absorbing the moisture in the slime, but it just looked a little bit off. The slime looked okay, but I just needed to fix the texture a little bit more, so I decided to add some Daiso soft clay. The reason I'm adding this is because the clay kind of melts it down a little bit and gives it that softness that it had originally. I was so glad that I actually added this because this turned out to be one of the fluffiest and lightest butter slimes I've ever felt, and was just so incredibly satisfying to play with. The instant snow kind of gave it like an ice creamy texture, and to me it looked like strawberry ice cream. So you'd think I would have made it look like strawberry ice cream for the video, but no, I decided to go with this pig charm. Now, I'm not sure why I chose this charm, and looking back at it, I kind of wish I made it into a strawberry ice cream slime, but it's kind of cute, and the charm's color matched it really well as well. But overall, I'd say this was a pretty successful fix, considering what the slime started as. Okay, so this next slime I could tell was a water slime, kind of just by how much the slime moved about inside the container. And it was this super bright blue color, which was meant to look like water, I think, and honestly smelled so good. It has been a few days since filming this, and I still cannot figure out what it scented like, or what even smells similar. Now, I'm sure you can see, but the texture of this was actually super satisfying, but also just like a water slime. So literally just like playing with goo. So although some people do choose to make this texture, I am going to be changing doing it, so I guess it's not really fixing, but switching it up. The last time I fixed water slimes, I found out that just adding some glue to them and then mixing them usually fixes them without the need for any activator, so that's what I tried to do here. I could tell that the glue was kind of mixing into it, but I don't think I actually put enough glue with it, so it was still kind of tough. So I just added a little bit more glue and mixed it even more. What was weird is that the glue would melt the slime down, and then the more I'd mix it, the slime would kind of reactivate and go tough. So even after adding 2 lots of glue, the slime was still kind of rubbery and just had a weird texture. However, it wasn't really watery anymore, and I could definitely knead and play with it, and I definitely couldn't have before. I actually thought the slime was done at this point, so I was kind of kneading it to go smooth, but of course me kneading it even more made it toughen up, so it went back into the bowl with some more glue. Strangely enough, this was actually the hardest it was to mix the glue into it, because it was more of a natural slime rather than water slime, but eventually it did kind of come together and was actually a little bit stickier than I wanted it to be. Not only this, but the color of it had completely faded because of the amount of glue we'd added, so I went ahead and added some more dye back into it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the more you'd play with it, the kind of tougher it would get, so I'm actually really glad I didn't add any activator to fix the stickiness, because it kind of fixed it itself. Now, I wanted to completely change the texture of this slime, so I thought what better way of doing that than adding plastic snow into it. The slime itself wasn't super sticky anymore, but it was definitely soft enough for the snow to stick into it, and I was surprised at how easy this actually went in. I had added a whole bowl of snow, but the slime itself didn't feel super crunchy and was a little bit too soft, so I went ahead and got some more to mix into it. Again, like before, the snow mixed in super easily, and it was really fun to do. And the result has to be one of the best snow fizz slimes I think I've ever made. Or semi-made, because I didn't make the first slime. I think the water slime kind of gave it this softness to it, which didn't make it super crunchy to hold, but it made it super satisfying and squishy to play with. Like usual, I put it into a container to decorate, and I wasn't sure what theme I was going to go with for this one, but I swirled it into the container to make it look super cute. After I'd done this, I actually found this really cute dog charm that kind of went with it perfectly, and then just topped it with some rainbow beads. I was going to add some more things to it, but then I actually stopped myself from ruining it and left it like this. I honestly think sometimes the simpler slimes look the best, and I was really happy with how this turned out. It has a completely different texture than the first slime did, but I didn't change it up too much. So let me know if you like me making the slimes look completely different, or if you like me trying to keep them a little more similar. Okay, so the first slime that we fixed has been sat for a few days now, so I thought it was probably time to have a checkup on it. Now, the first thing I noticed was that the slime had this weird kind of skin on top of it, where maybe the activator had gone to the top or it had dried somehow. The base of the slime looked super pretty, but the texture was just not great. It kind of looked squishy and kind of was squishy, but when you tried to stretch it, it would kind of have these weird stringy bits or either just rip. Now, I don't know if it just needed to sit for longer, or maybe I just needed to mix it and then put it back away. But after I got playing with it, it did actually kind of loosen up and became more stretchy. It's definitely not the best slime I've ever made, but it is a whole lot better than what we had before. Considering that those slimes were literally just crumbling when you'd play with them, and now this is somewhat of a playable slime. I had an absolute blast opening and fixing some of these slimes. If you liked the video too, make sure to hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to hit subscribe. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.